Hey, chicks, let's chat. Let me just jump right into it. Listen, why y'all scared of counseling and therapy? Where that come from? What is that about? Right? For some reason, historically, those two words, counseling and therapy, woo, boy, look at here. We run from them words right there. You hear me? It's like, it's funny because it's like for most people to have never even tried it out, it's like it's a no out the gate. And I wonder why is that? Now, one of the things we know is obvious. We have affiliated getting therapy and getting counseling with being crazy. That, if anybody's wondering, that's the one true fact that historically we have heard that if you get counseling or you need therapy, like mentally you're off. That's the one, that's the top reason why we go the opposite direction, or we have went in the opposite direction, right? Or we have not felt that there was a need to obtain counseling or a need to get therapy because we connect that with meaning that we must be crazy. If we need to go sit and talk to someone about something, if we need to go get instruction outside of our family or outside of the church or outside of, our norm, we have been, I don't even think nobody taught us that. We have just digested that on our own, that is what that must mean, right? And it's funny because the reality is that going to get therapy or counseling, whichever I say them interchangeably, going to get those, going to seek those, does not mean that you crazy. No more than not going to get them doesn't mean that you ain't crazy, right? And I don't like to even really use the term crazy because when you educate it, you understand really what crazy means. It means mental health issues. There are some mental health issues there. It's not really appropriate, politically correct to say crazy. When people are termed crazy, what we're really referring to is that they have some mental health challenges. And mental health challenges can come in a plethora of different terms and concepts, ideals, actions, behaviors, right? So initially I wanted to pose that question, why we run from it. And then the answer really came to me like, the real reason why we run from it is because we don't like to be affiliated with crazy. Even when we are. Even when we know we are at our wits' end and something may not be connecting, something may not be right, we still don't want to accept the fact that there's something going on within. And I've seen so many people run from it. I've seen so many people not even address it. I've seen so many people act as if their norm is the norm. And the reality is that just because that's your norm doesn't mean there's anything normal about it. And let me jump into it. If you have daughters and you don't know the last time you hugged her, like not because she was leaving your home, not because she was going off to college or coming back from the military, but just a real, baby, I love you, it's some issues there. It's some issues there. If every time you sit down to have a conversation, you're angry, or you can't even sit down to have a conversation because you're angry or you're hurt, you're crying, there's some issues there. There's some issues there. You like to say, see, I got a quick temper, so I can't, sit. That's what you call it. That's what you say. It's more to it than that. But we don't want to get into all of that, because that has become our norm. So it's normal for us. All of that, that's just how I am. Some of that ain't nothing normal about it. Some of that is some underlying issues there. We don't want to talk about that. We don't want to address that. We want to just act like it's okay. That's how it's supposed to be. You've been like that all your life. That's just what it is. That's how we are in this family. And it may be, because y'all have some generational traumas that have never been addressed. And you keep going right on with it, passing it down from generation to generation. Never dealing with it, never feeling like anything is all right with it. You have sons that make you angry when you look at them, because they remind you so much of their dad, and that relationship went astray, and you never got over it. You always held it in your heart. To the least thing he do, you have an issue with it just because it takes you back to that time. I can give you so many examples of things that are just normal for people, that has become their norm, and they don't realize that it's nothing normal about it. So those are the kind of things that you got to talk to somebody about it. You should go and have a session, a sit down with somebody. Right? And a lot of people like to say, well, just pray about it. This, that, or the third. Okay. Well, when you praying about it, for you to be able to act on it, that means you got to hear from God. That means you got to be able to know how to hear from God. Know when it's God, and know when it's not just your conscience talking to you. Or you just regurgitating, you just remember what somebody told you a long time ago. It's so many things that have to line up for you to only be able to pray and get your answers without you going to seek professional help from people who, they know how to guide you and walk you through certain things. A lot of times people hide behind, well, the Bible, well, the God, well, praying. People hide behind it because they don't really want to go and seek that counseling and that therapy. You act like God can't move through therapy. God can't move through counseling. Yes, he can. Yes, he can. So that really ain't no excuse not to go and get what you need. Go and get something that could help you. Now, does counseling and therapy help everybody? Well, I don't know, because I ain't talked to everybody. Right? But is it a possibility that it can help you? Absolutely. Absolutely. And when I say help you, I don't mean that the counseling and therapy is the end all and be all to whatever it is that you're dealing with, because it's not. Some stuff that we're dealing with, especially as a culture and especially as women, some of that stuff is so deeply rooted that it may take you years in counseling and therapy to get a breakthrough. Right? So it's no sense in saying that that's going to be your way out and that's going to fix all your issues. No, it's not. No, it's not. But can it be a tool to help with some things? Absolutely. Because see, some of us, we don't have nobody that we can confide in. We don't trust none of the people that we say are our friends, are our family. All you have, the only person you really willing to lean on is your own self. And then we wonder why we fat. We wonder why all we want to eat is stuff that's no good for us. Wonder why we stay in and out of bed, jumping in and out of relationships. Why? Because we internalizing the hurt and the pain, the problems. We internalizing it, and we self-soothing. But we don't really want to talk about that. We don't want to have them conversations because that's too much like right, as my grandma would say. That's too much like right. It's too real. See, you don't really want to deal with why you drinking a lot. Because it ain't just because you like to drink, right? Liking to drink is socially drinking. You have you a little Crown Apple with a little, Sprite every now and again. Yes. A little, a little some little de-iced Moscato here and there. But when every time you go out, you got to get dead drunk. Something to that. Every morning you wake up, you got to roll a blunt. Something to that. Every time you lay down, every weekend you got to have company. Whether it's the same dude, whether it's not the same dude, you know it ain't going towards no marriage. It ain't none of that. You just need the company there. Something to that. Something to that. You hear me? Every time you eat, you got to have a sweet behind it. Something to that. Every plate you make got to be, super soul food. Plate like you feeding a truck driver or something. Something to that. Something to that. Something to that. Everything you watch on TV is super drama, super messy, super, pointing out highlighting all of our negative characteristics. But that's all you like to watch. Something to that. Something to that, you hear me? Everything you got to show every crease and crevice you got. You can't wear nothing that don't show your every print God gave you. You can't wear nothing that don't highlight, accentuate that. Something to that. Something to that. And so it's really interesting that people who have been through so much trauma don't see the importance in going to deal with that trauma, because they have just normalized traumatic behaviors. They have just normalized it. It's regular. It's normal, right? We normalize it so much, it's funny. We laugh at people who constantly doing foolish stuff. It's funny. We can't stop looking at the people who big as a house and keep just eating right in front of us, all kind of stuff. It look good and they just eating themselves to death. And we love to hear the sounds of them chewing and watching them eat. We can't even stop looking at them. We watch the trauma unfold in front of our eyes, and that's normal for us to do that. Now, we help people get rich on YouTube by watching them just eat themselves to death. And then we're going to be posting rest in peace whenever we find out they done had a heart attack or something, or a stroke or something. We watch girls go do every single thing in the world to their body. And it's never enough. Every time you turn around, they're going to lay on the table for this, for that. And it's never enough. They still ain't happy. And we just watching unfold. And then we in their comments, girl, you look good. Girl, you bad. Yes. Or we in their comments with the most hateful things we could think to say to a person we don't even know. Not knowing what they're going through, not knowing what their mental capacity is. And we saying the worst things we could conjure up. And then we say, oh, well, you put your life on the internet for us, so it's fair game. We can say whatever we want. And it's just normal for you to just tell that person to shreds. And it's all right for you. And you don't think nothing wrong with that. You don't see no area in your heart that needs to be changed, needs to be worked on. Because that's your norm. You gon' everybody post and look for the worst and say whatever you think you safe to say from your phone. And you don't see nothing wrong with that. As a people, we've been through so much historically. But we ain't even talking about that. Currently, what we're watching unfold in front of our face is traumatic. But somehow that has become our norm. Because all the reality shows, all they do is highlight all the foolishness, all the negativity. And what the reality shows don't highlight, then people come and post all of the negative and traumatic things going on in their life. And it becomes our normal to read and intake all of that stuff on top of whatever we going through. Now we digesting their trauma and their bad behaviors and everything else on top of that. And then we don't see any reason why we should go and have a sit down with somebody here and there every now and then. We don't see a need for that. It's absolutely a need for that. And it's nobody that I am like promoting. Yeah, go see her, go see this, go see that. I don't have no deals with nobody. Ain't nobody give me no percentage or something. But the reality is that when you sit and you think about everything that's going on in the world, and then you think about everything that's going on in your life, how can you deal with all of that without having an outlet? Without having a positive outlet? Because a lot of us have outlets, yeah. Some of it's food, some of it's sex, some of it's drugs. Some of it is your kids and your grandkids that you're overly obsessed with. Beyond just loving them, you're overly obsessed with them. To the fact that you treasure and love them more than you even love your own kids. And why is that? Because sometimes you didn't even know how to love your kids. But by the time your grandkids come along, now you got a little something in you that you know how to love them a little better. You know how to talk to them a little better. So you pour it on heavy to the grandkids without even going back trying to fix the trauma that you caused, that you helped create with your kids. You overlook everything about whatever with them. Oh, that's old. Y'all grown now. So now you trying to redo your parenthood through your grandkids. Too much pride to go and try to fix what went wrong with your kids, though. Something wrong with that. Something wrong with that. As a woman, it's so many things that, we may not have gotten from whether it was from our mom, whether it was from our dad, whether it was just from society. And now we got tons of issues that we're dealing with on the outside, on the inside. The outside, no matter what, it's never good enough. You cut your hair short, men like long hair. You get perms, everybody say you need to be natural. Like, it's never enough. You can't win for losing, right? And then you're supposed to walk in this feminine when you're dealing with all these outside factors of the world and all these outside factors going on amongst yourself. And then you're supposed to walk in feminine energy, never being angry, never showing up with a little chip, never, how do you do that? And it be real. And you not faking phony. How you do that? Without having some solid foundation, without having a certain kind of mental composure, a certain type of moral code of conduct. How you do that without that? You don't trust nobody. You've been hurt so much. It's nobody you could trust. So why not go sit down with somebody you don't know? Because they can't judge you based on anything other than what you tell them. Sometimes you just need an outlet. Sometimes you just need somebody to talk to. Because whatever you tell your sister, she going back to tell your mama or your daddy or your favorite cousin. So you don't really trust your innermost secrets with her. Not to mention when y'all get in an argument, what you told her in secrecy, in privacy, in confidence, that's going to come back up in the argument. So now you don't have nobody to talk to, or so you feel. So that's why when you home at night, you just in your little worries away. Or you pointing it away. You got more roses than anybody. All kind of sexual toys to satisfy an appetite of trauma. That's not how you satisfy that appetite, though. You got to deal with that trauma. So it's going to deal with you. Believe that now. So, I'm of the same culture as y'all. You know, the only difference is that in my mind and in my heart, I never shunned counseling and therapy. And that's, you know, me having a feeling like I have a solid foundation in you know, spirituality. Like, I'm confident with who I am in God, in the Lord, and I'm good with that. But I still understand that he can work through people. If I see him work through me, surely he could help me through somebody else. Right? So I never shunned it. But sometimes you just don't know how to go about, like, how do you go about getting therapy or counseling? Who do you call? Do they take insurance? Will I have to pay out of my pocket? It's so many things you don't know till, even when you're curious about it, sometimes you just like, you know what, I ain't gonna worry about it or whatever. I don't know. You know, I just leave it alone. But my experience was this. After I went to jail, my supervisor, well, our department head, if you will, she said she wanted me to go talk to somebody. And I was like, all right, because I'm off. I was on paid leave anyway. So, okay. I was like, I'll go, you know. And so I had went. She set up everything. I went, met the lady. We met in person. I was doing it like in person every week. But then I was like, well, I don't really need to do it in person if she offer it online. Then I was like, well, it's cool, but I don't really need to do it every week. So I was like, so every other week we started doing like, you know, telehealth, like via online. And it was cool. Like, it was cool. I didn't have any, you know, I still can't think of any reason not to do it. Even if it's just to have a sounding board, just to get your thoughts out of your head and off of your heart and put them on to somebody else that don't know you. You ain't got to worry about her going to tell your auntie, cousin, sister, whoever. The only person they probably going to tell is their husbands and their kids or their family. And you don't know them, so what difference do it make? Right? So, I mean, I found it helpful in the sense of just being able to have somebody to talk to about what you were going through, how you felt in the moment. You know, and I never did get into anything, to me, too deep with her. I just kind of talked about, you know, my situation that happened, you know, at work. And I enjoyed it. So I can't imagine what it would be like to really, you know, really get into your other issues with the counselor or a therapist. Get into the things that, you know, you've been holding near and dear to your heart. You know, but I can only imagine maybe the relief that one would get, maybe the comfort that one would get, you know. So let me just put that on y'all mind, you know, to get rid of the negative stigma. Because like I said, if you think going to sit down and talk to somebody to make you crazy, well, guess what? If you crazy, you crazy. Even if you never go sit down and talk to nobody, it don't make you any less crazy. But I guess for some people, they feel like, oh, that validates, that proves she have to go see a therapist. No, it ain't you have to go see a therapist. If if you going to see a therapist, unless it's court ordered, which I don't know that they can really do that, because even if they court order you, they can't make you talk to a therapist. They can't make you talk doing therapy. So it ain't no, oh, she had to go. No, you make a conscious effort to do that because you seeking your own healing. You trying to be a better person. Whether it's for you, whether it's for your kids, whether it's for your grandkids, whether it's, trying to show up better on your job, whatever it is. So why did they let people trick us into thinking that was it's so wrong? That's not what you should be doing. How did you let the enemy trick you into feeling that way? Right? Because, I don't know, but I've never heard of nobody going and feeling worse. Even if maybe you might feel worse after that session because y'all tackle some real heart-to-heart things in that session. But overall, I haven't heard anybody say, oh yeah, I was worse off after I stopped going to the 20 sessions. Yeah, you might have had the wrong person, or maybe you were going for the wrong reason, or maybe you and your therapist got too close, y'all started doing things. Like, it's some more components to that. Because if you go, it's done right, you pick the right type of person, you pick the right type of therapist for you, because maybe the first person, maybe you don't vibe with them, maybe you're not comfortable with them. But should you get the right situation, I just don't see how that could not benefit you in some way. Like I said, is that the end and be all that's going to change your whole life? I don't think that. But I think it is a step in the direction to help you deal with some things that maybe you have been running from. Maybe you don't know those things that exist. Or maybe you do know some things exist and you just never knew how to deal with it. I know some people who lie so much, ain't nowhere in the world they don't need therapy for that. Because what make you do that? How do you just lie and tell lies all your life? For what? Is that an attention thing or what? I never understood that. But you ain't gonna make me believe you don't need to go see somebody about that. Like, it's so many things that, like, I see people doing and it's questionable, and sometimes it's almost funny, but it's funny when that's their thing and that ain't your thing. But it's not funny when you that person walking in there and you that person wrestling with those vices. That's not funny. You know what I'm saying? Like, when we sitting watching them people eat and all of that, and we like, for whatever reason, whatever entertainment that, you get up out of it. But when that girl have to go find her something to wear and she can't never seem to find nothing that she think is cute, when she take her clothes off and she can't stand the way her body look after entertaining all these people online all day, but go to bed crying, that's the part you ain't gonna see though. Oh, but it happens. Oh, but it happens. Not that they're going to bed crying every night, but listen, on the inside, you feel some kind of way. And that's whatever your vice is. Everybody don't have the same vice. I love to hear the people get on there and be like when I did my video that got like the most views, when I was talking about weaves, BBLs, etc. Ooh, boy, what I say, some of them comments that was like, oh, well, you just need to worry about you. You just need to go to the gym. And do all of what you saying about me. Guess what? I already know that. You can't make me feel no kind of way about that. You sure can't. You think you gonna tell me something I don't know when I got to take a bath or take a shower every day? What can you tell me about me that I don't know? The difference between me and you, though, is that I don't mind acknowledging, yeah, I'm falling short in that area. Because, see, I'm the one who goes shopping for my stuff. I'm the one who know the type of stuff that I like to wear. And, okay, well, I would love to wear this dress, but ain't no way in the world I'm finna put on this dress. And I got about 5 rows in the back that's finna be showing. I ain't finna wear that. I ain't finna wear it. Now, it is a lot of women who they have it said and they don't mind showing every single roll they have. That's not me, sweetheart. I don't like to show up in that way. I don't think nothing is cute about it, and that's just no. I'll find something else equally or more flattering. It's just some things that's just, no, if you want to wear that, then you're going to have to go ahead and hit your gym more and eat you some more salads and all that, because I ain't finna wear that and be showing all that. I don't even like to wear, as much as I like, you know, tank tops, all of that, I don't even like to wear crop tops. I'm gonna wear a crop top and I got a big old stomach. I don't know how that came into fashion, because I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't think it's cute. I don't think it's sexy. I don't think it's flattering. None of that. But do women wear it and they love it, and that's, have at it, sis. I'll find something else. They got too many clothes, too many boutiques, too many online. They got too much clothes around here for me to show up like that in public. Now, if I wear some, ain't no telling what I might put on around my house. But when I step out, I care about how I present. I do, you know. So, and even that, to me, a lot of times you seeing people show up in certain ways when they don't care. You might need to go sit down, talk to somebody. Because why you don't care? Why you don't care? Who bullied you? See, sometimes you could get bullied so bad and talked about so bad at certain stages in your life that once you get older, you have told yourself that you no longer care about what anybody says. So now, because you have tricked your mind into not caring about what anybody says, now you think that gives you a green light to do anything, say anything, wear anything, show up any kind of way. No, it don't. No, it don't. See, and that's why a lot of times, and I pick weight because I know that that's my vice. Like I say, it may not be yours, but it's my vice. So a lot of times when I see people showing up in a certain way and their vice is weight, I can see through a lot of stuff. Because like I said, I know what that's like when you take your clothes off and your body ain't hitting the way you want it to be. You know what I'm saying? So you ain't gonna fool me into thinking that you think you look so wonderful and this and that and no, you don't. You putting on for the people. Because see, when you really like an outfit and your tail can't get in it, or you put it on and it looks stupid on you, you'll be pissed off. Like, dang, I hate this. You know? So you ain't gonna make me think that, no, you can't make me think that. I walk in them shoes. I walk in them shoes. And that's why when the best people to help deal with certain things are people who have lived experience. That's why I'm a peer recovery specialist now, because I have lived experience in a whole lot of things. And that's why the person who could best help when a person is trying to recover from drugs, or have the person who could best help them and understand them is somebody who done been there, done that. They know how you feeling. They know how the high takes you so high, but then you miserable after it. And then now you got to go get high again to forget about all the stuff you did when you got high, and all how disappointing you know it is to you, and how you're disappointing your kids. And nobody knows that better than somebody who has lived experience doing it. So that's why, like I said, when I see people, even the girls that's on there eating, and you know you big as a house and you just eating for entertainment. Listen, I know what you going through when you cut that phone off and you ain't recording no more. And you can say, well, everybody don't like clothes, and everybody don't like clothes, but everybody have to wear them. Everybody have to wear them. And when every time you go to the store, you got to find a bigger size and a bigger size and a bigger size. And listen, even when I'm buying 2X shirts, I'm like, okay, now I only see one more size up in here. You know, every now and then I see maybe another size, 2 more size. But okay, At some point, baby, you got to come on down just so you can have some options should the future present some craziness. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times things ain't how people presenting them. People be putting on big fronts, perpetrating big frauds. Yeah. They ain't as happy as they seem like, and you have to be able to know that and see that in people. Oh, she real confident. No, she ain't. She lying. That's why she be crying whenever people say stuff about her. That's why she always going back, because she ain't as confident as she's perpetrating. She's really hurting. There's something going on that make her keep eating. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of times, what I realized even about myself, a lot of times my eating came from being bored. Right? Just me being the type of person that, you know, I don't affiliate with a whole bunch of or any type of person, so I'm very, very particular. Okay, so all the time, the kind of people that I may want to hang with or may want to be around, they ain't always available or present or this or that. So then that may give me a lot of time to myself. Okay, so I'm bored. So there's only so many books I'm going to read, or even while I'm reading this book, eat. You ain't hungry, you just eat. Snacks, eat. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, even little things like that, you know, you have to get to the bottom of, like, why are you doing these things that may be detrimental to you? Or why are you doing these things that may be detrimental to your family, to your children? Why can't you tell your daughter you love her? Why did she never hear that until she was grown, or until she had kids, or until you sick and you on your deathbed? What is the problem? What was the problem? That, well, nobody never told me. Okay. But maybe you could have dealt with that way before you end up damaging her. You know? Like, so many things we push off whole time we damaging the next generations. You know, I remember coming up, like, hearing, you know, watch what you're eating, watch this, watch that. But maybe it would have benefited me more. Now, I heard outside of my family, girl, you bad, girl. You know, I heard all of that. Maybe it would have benefited me more had I heard that from the inside, instead of just you keep eating, you're going to be fat. You're going to do the, okay, well, tell me how nice I am now. So then maybe that would give me encouragement to stay there, versus you telling me something hypothetical. Yeah, that hypothetical stuff did happen. But maybe had you reinforced where I was, listen, you got a beautiful shape right here. Pay attention to where you at now. Watch it, because you want to stay here. Watch what you eating. Watch what, you know what? No, don't get no seconds. Just only eat this. Watch what you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes as a culture, I feel like we reinforce stuff. We call ourselves trying to help, but the way we do it, it hurts. You know, we may have good intention, but we don't put the words right. So it ends up doing the opposite. You know, dad, some of y'all so macho. You know, you so tough. Do you tell your daughters that they beautiful? I even told my daddy, like, hey, I ain't never heard you tell none of your daughters that they was pretty or nothing. You know? But what I understand about him is that when it comes to emotions, he ain't the most emotionally intelligent man you gonna have. That's not his strong point. His strong point is being a provider, taking care of you, doing, you know, his love language shows up in a different way. Cause he ain't finna be telling you how beautiful and smart you are, and he ain't. He may reward you for your smarts or for your, you know, your accolade, you know, the things that you're doing that are progressive, but just to sit there and be like, yeah, you know, I always know how beautiful you are. That's not him. He's not finna do that. Do I think men should be telling their daughters that? Absolutely. Because if their dads aren't affirming them in that way. Then just like me, when them dudes on the outside start affirming her, she gonna pay attention. And it may be the wrong kind of dudes, but she paying attention because that's who telling her how good she look, how fine she is, how this, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying, oh, your daddy should be telling you, girl, you know you fine now. Yeah, that's weird. But no, reinforcing how they feel about themselves and in a of course a parent friendly way. You know, because mamas can do crazy stuff too. You know, I have heard mamas talk about their sons in a way that's like that's not your boyfriend. That's but anyways, it's so many things that we need to work on. Not for, of course, it will benefit society if we work on these things, but we need to work on these things for ourselves to benefit us while we're here. Because the better we are, the better example we are for other people who are paying attention, who are looking at us. So that's that. Y'all have a good one.